You ever notice how AI assistants, they just seem to have an answer for everything? They sound so sure of themselves, so authoritative. Well, what if that confidence is actually a critical flaw? Okay, let's dive into this because it's a fascinating and frankly a super important topic. Why your AI might be a know-it-all and why that's a huge problem we've got to solve.
So check this out. Imagine you ask an AI about something that hasn't even happened, right? Like a 2028 lunar summit on helium-3 mining. And boom, you get an answer just like this. It's so specific, it's got official-sounding names, percentages. I mean, it sounds totally legit, doesn't it?
Well, here's the kicker. That event, it never happened. The Artemis Accords too, the whole thing, completely made up. The AI didn't just, get a fact wrong. It invented an entire reality and presented it with absolute, rock-solid confidence. That is the problem we are digging into today.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to talk about AI's confidence problem. Then we'll define this thing called OHR. We'll look at why AIs do this, the risks involved, how we can fix it, and wrap up with what it all means for building AI we can actually trust.
Okay, let's jump right in. The core issue here is confidence. Normally we think being certain is a good thing, but with AI, that certainty can actually be a really dangerous bug hiding in plain sight, pretending to be a feature. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like an AI was just a little too sure of itself? I bet you have. It's that gut feeling, right? Where you get this super detailed, confident answer, but something just feels off. That's your brain flagging exactly what we're talking about. It happens all the time, and now we actually have a name for it.
So what is this know-it-all phenomenon called? Well, researchers have given it a technical name, and once you get it, the whole problem starts to make a lot more sense.
It's called the Omniscience Hallucination Rate, or OHR for short. And it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a measurement. It tracks how often an AI gives you a super confident, authoritative answer when really, the much better and frankly safer answer would have been, I don't know.
And this is a really important distinction to make. An omniscience hallucination isn't just your regular AI mistake. You see, a general hallucination is just when the AI gets something wrong. It might even sound a bit hesitant. But with OHR, oh no, that's when the AI is wrong and it's doubling down, acting like it's 100% correct. The confidence is the real poison here.
So yeah, at its core, OHR is just a measure of a confidence mismatch. It's the gap between what the AI actually knows and the level of confidence it's projecting. It's not just about being wrong, it's about being confidently wrong, and that is so much more dangerous and misleading. Which leads to the big question, right? Why do they do this? I mean, an AI doesn't have an ego, it can't get embarrassed, so why does it pretend to be a know-it-all? Well, the answer is all in the code, and how these things are built and trained from the ground up.
Okay, so there are a few big reasons. First, you've got to remember what these models fundamentally are. They're pattern completion machines. Their whole job is to guess the next word in a sequence, so their instinct is always to complete the pattern, to give an answer, not to stop and say, hey, I'm not sure. Then there's the training data itself. A lot of it just doesn't have examples of I don't know being a valid or even a good response. And finally, well, it's kind of on us. When we humans help train these things, we tend to reward the answers that sound really detailed and confident, even if they're totally wrong. We're accidentally teaching them to fake it till they make it.
And it's not just the tech side of things. There are external pressures too. For one, these AIs are a mirror of us. And let's be real, we humans have a tendency to speak with way more certainty than we actually have. But there's also product pressure. Companies want their AI chatbots to seem super helpful and decisive, right? So they fine-tune them to avoid refusing to answer questions. And what does that do? It cranks up the OHR.
Okay, so we know what OHR is, and we know why it's happening. But so what? Why is this such a big deal? Well, this is where things get really serious, because when you take this problem out of the lab and into the real world, this kind of AI overconfidence becomes downright dangerous. Just look at these high-risk areas. In medicine, imagine a confidently wrong AI suggesting a treatment that could harm someone. In law, it could completely misread a law and give advice that ruins a case. Or think bigger, policymaking, where a government might act on completely fabricated data from an AI. In these situations, I don't know isn't a failure. It is an absolutely critical safety feature. The fallout from this is huge. A high OHR doesn't just mislead one person. It can spread misinformation like wildfire because it sounds so credible. It also makes us lazy, encouraging us to just trust the AI without checking. And over time, this completely erodes public trust in the technology. We have to be clear. This isn't some minor glitch. It is a fundamental threat to AI safety.
But okay, after all that doom and gloom, there is some good news. People are working on this. Smart researchers are tackling this head-on, and the goal is basically to teach AI a little humility.
And they're not just hoping for the best. They have a whole toolbox of solutions. This isn't about one magic bullet. It's a full-on strategy. We're talking about explicitly training models that I don't know is a great answer. It's about building in ways for the AI to tell us how confident it is. It's about forcing the AI to connect its answers back to real-world data, a process called grounding. And it's about setting up system rules that reward the AI for being cautious, for asking for more information, instead of just rewarding it for blurting out a confident-sounding answer.
So what's the big picture here? Well, tackling this OHR problem, it's not just about squashing a bug. It's a massive foundational step toward building the kind of AI we can all actually genuinely trust.
Because that's the end game, isn't it? We need AI that's transparent, an AI that's honest about what it knows, and even more importantly, what it doesn't know. We need it to be reliable, so we know it won't just lead us astray. It needs to be aligned with what we expect from any good tool. I mean, if your calculator couldn't do a function, you'd want it to say error, not just make up a number. AI should be no different.
And that really leaves us with a pretty deep thought, right? We always think of intelligence as just knowing stuff, having all the answers. But maybe true intelligence, whether you're a human or a machine, is something else. Maybe it's about understanding the boundaries of your own knowledge and having the wisdom to just say, I don't know. To learn how this might be affecting your business processes, feel free to message Iwin on his LinkedIn and subscribe to this channel.